What's going on, guys? This video is going to explain the new rules to dating in 2025 and how to win. The game has changed. The reason you're struggling with women is you're playing an outdated game. You need to understand that. If you watch this channel, you want to improve yourself, okay? You're not a crash out. This is not a channel for guys who want to blame the world for their problems, play the victim, and be lazy and expect everything to just come to them. Like, you're willing to work for what you want. You're willing to improve yourself. You're willing to go to the gym. You're willing to pursue goals. You're willing to change and improve yourself to get the results you want in life. Yet your dating life probably still looks like this: a bunch of empty inboxes on dating apps. You're paying for Tinder Gold, you're paying for the Hinge Premium, whatever the fuck it's called, all that stuff. And yet you're getting no matches. You're swiping over and over again. And if you do get a match with a girl, you send her a message and she ignores it. And you're just like, why am I spending all this money on this? This shit doesn't work. You're getting fucking annoyed by it. I know, because I've been there as well. You're getting messages like this from girls. Maybe it was a girl you were dating and she's like, I love you, but I just don't have feelings for you anymore, as she runs off with her ex. Or she's gaslighting you about the fact that, she's pulling away from you and you can tell, and you're asking her about it and she's acting like it's not happening. She's out at a girl's night out. She's not texting you back. And you're just over here confused and bewildered, and she's blaming you for all of this as she pulls away from you. Or it's something like, hey, something came up, I can't make it. Like, you finally get a girl who's willing to go on a date with you and she flakes. Or you get a text like, hey, you're a really nice guy, but I just don't see you that way. I remember this shit from my teenage years. Like, you're listening to the girl's problems. You think you're doing it all right. You're being the nice guy. Shit's so annoying when I think back on it and all this kind of stuff. And then she just runs off with this other guy that she was complaining about to you all the time. Like, how many guys have been there, Or you're getting the, like, left on red. You send a girl a message, she leaves you on red. You thought it was going somewhere, she ignores you. Like, this is the reality most guys are dealing with out there. You know what I'm saying? And the stats bear this out. In 2022, 63% of men are single. I imagine those numbers have probably gone up. If they're not, they're at least the same, if not having gone up. The game has changed, and the advice you're getting just isn't working. And obviously you figured this out. You know what I mean? Like, how you meet women today is different, and what women want today is different. You got to understand that. Like, the advice you get for meeting women is go out to a bar or club. I was talking to a guy in my school community the other day, and he was literally asking me this. He was like, how the heck do you meet women? It's like, my brother tells me go out to a bar or club, and he's like, I don't even drink. And I was like, dude, like, it doesn't work. This is not how this works anymore. This is what going out to a bar or club looks like. It's literally a meme. So you go out to a club, it's dark and loud. You go through general admission. So you're just some dude in a mob with a bunch of loud music and drinks and everything. And you're screaming in some girl's ear trying to get her to like you. Like, do you really think that's going to work? Like, think about that logically. Like, guys are doing this kind of shit because they just don't know what else to do. And it doesn't work. You end up spending 50, 60 bucks out on the night at a minimum just to go home with nothing. And it's like, this is really what you want. And even if you do get a girl, do you really want a drunk slut from a club? That's what you want? That's really your goal here, And the thing is, like, luckily, we live in a world now where people aren't drinking like that. Like, people either drink to oblivion at this point or they don't drink at all. And you guys who are watching this channel are probably in that latter group. Like, you don't really drink. I don't drink. I'm not going out to a bar to pick up chicks. Like, that would be so inauthentic. Like, I don't want to be there. I don't like drinking alcohol. It's just a stupid way to do it. And then the other ideas you get about how to meet women are like, go out to social events or use your social group. You'll meet her through your friends, but it's like, how many of your friends have chicks, right? And if they do, are they going to give one to you? They're probably desperate themselves. Or it's like, you go to church. It's like, so what? I'm going to talk to like the one girl that I'm not attracted to at the church. That's the plan here. Like, this shit doesn't work. How you meet women today has radically changed, and what you used to do does not work. And then on the other side, what they're looking for has changed, because being a good guy gets you left for or used for emotional support. You end up being the guy who she talks about her problems with while she runs off with the guy she's actually attracted to. Or you just get left because you're trying to be too much of a nice guy. You're trying to do all this shit that like your dad told you to do, or like some body who doesn't even know how to get women told you to do, or like Prince Charming type shit. You're doing all this shit that just does not work, okay? What you're doing isn't working, clearly, or you wouldn't even be watching this video. The world has changed, and you need to understand that. And so what this video is going to do is explain how it has changed and what men need to do to get ahead in 2025 and beyond. We're going to walk through this thing. So this is the old way that it worked for guys to get women. Women looked for men with beta provider traits, things like stability, chivalry, took care of things for her, right? Like a guy who was reliable, who like paid the bills, and he came home every day at 5 o'clock from his job and she had dinner ready for him and all this kind of shit. And he was chivalrous, like he would, take her out, hold the door open for her, like, pull her chair out, all this kind of like stuff that guys used to do, or like he took care of things for her. He was like this plow horse, dutiful kind of guy who would do this shit. And this actually used to work, like women were dependent on men. And because they were dependent on men, they looked for these provider traits, women had limited access to men. There was no social media. And so like she would meet a guy through her friends or at a skating rink or some shit like this, and she was dependent on him. And because of that, like what she would do is basically try to get a relationship out of the man and get commitment from the guy because she needed him to take care of her. And so she was looking for these kinds of traits. And so the game was set up in this way. Women's choices in men were based on practicality, not desire, because a woman needed a man to take care of her. So he needed certain things. So what she was going to look for was practical. She was going to look at things through a more logical lens of like, well, I need a guy to take care of me. I need somebody to pay the bills for me. Women weren't even allowed to have jobs back in the day if they were married, I believe. Like this was how this worked. And so like they needed a man with certain traits. They looked at the world much differently. But now here's the new way that things go. Women seek men with, quote, alpha hot traits, something like a douche mentality, which we talk about a lot on the channel, is like that. This is why you need to douche max, okay? Status and options. These are the kinds of things that women are looking for in a man today. A man who has status, who's desired, who's popular, who's, just does it for her in a very like visceral way, who's got this kind of alpha mentality, the douche mentality. He's got options. They want to be with the guy that other women want. She doesn't need a man to provide for her anymore. And because of that, she doesn't need to look for these provider traits. They're just not valuable anymore. And she has unlimited access to men. The beta side of mating has experienced hyperinflation, meaning that like she's got hundreds, if not thousands of guys in her inbox, depending on how attractive she is, who are willing to give her the beta side of things. They're willing to buy her dinner. They're willing to like hold that door open for her and pull her chair out and buy her flowers and listen to her problems and provide whatever she needs for her. They are all willing to do it. So that is just not valuable anymore because she has access to it from everybody. And so it's just like, whatever. Like I can get this from whoever. It doesn't mean shit to me. You know what I mean? Women choose men based on short-term desire now because they don't need the long-term providership. And even if they do need it, it's so watered down and undervalued at this point that it just doesn't mean anything to her anymore. So she's looking for guys based on short-term desire because this is the thing that still she has a need for. She doesn't need the long-term stuff. She wants the short-term stuff now. In a world where women can take care of themselves, and thousands of men are lined up offering to be the beta for her, she has no use for this kind of guy. Just understand that. It just makes sense. It's like, it just, of course it's that way, The beta provider was never attractive, but he was necessary. So the reason this guy right here used to get a wife and she would be loyal to him and reliable to him is purely out of necessity. It's not that like women have like suddenly changed in this way of like what they're attracted to. It's like they were never attracted to this kind of personality and this kind of guy. It was just out of pure practicality that they chose this route. They had no choice. But because women now have an option, they don't want this. They never wanted it, but they needed it. And now they don't need it. And so they were never attracted to this, but it was needed. And so they went along with it, right? And the social setting was made in such a way where it was difficult to get divorced. It was also not socially acceptable to get divorced. And so she basically picked a man out of necessity, and she felt this impetus that she had to keep him happy. And so he was given sexual access, even though it was more of like her obligation to do it. It was not a visceral need or desire for her to do it. It was purely an obligation most of the time. And true, back in the day, men also had more masculine traits. And so she probably was somewhat attracted to him, but he had a lot of these kind of beta male kind of traits as well going on. And so she was like, just not that into it, but she had no choice. And this was essential for her survival and for the way that the culture worked at the time. But it's no longer necessary, and she's never been attracted to it, so she has no use to it. So think about it like this, guys. If a fat chick cooked and cleaned for you, would it make you desire her sexually? That's what you need to understand. Because basically, like, women, the same way that men have like the alpha traits that women are attracted to, and they have the beta traits that they find valuable from more of a practical sense, men have this with women too. They have the things they sexually desire, which is the way the woman looks, her body, her face, her feminine, way of communicating, her hair, all this kind of stuff. And then they've got the stuff that they view more as practical, which is what we describe as like wifey stuff, right? So this is wife material. And what do we view that way? We view it as like she cooks or cleans and all this kind of stuff. It's like those things don't actually make us desire her. Our ideal situation is a woman who gives us those things, who is also very attractive to us physically. So basically think about it like that. Like that's basically the beta and alpha equivalent for women. So if a woman who was unattractive was willing to cook and clean for you, would you desire her sexually? No, you wouldn't. You'd just be like, in a certain situation, maybe you'd find that useful, and so you'd maybe keep her around, but for the most part, you wouldn't really want that. You know what I mean? It would just be practical, and this is basically how women have viewed the beta side of things. It was just practical. It didn't make them want you. You get what I'm saying? The only women who still seek beta men are unattractive or are looking to exploit a useful idiot. So basically, attractive women have unlimited access to the beta side of like men's ability to provide for her. They can get the provider whenever they want. Women who are less attractive do not have all these options. They do not have a lot of guys hitting them up, or if they do, they're very unattractive men. And so those kinds of women are still in this sort of mindset of like looking for a provider. This is like some girl who's just like, she's just not attractive, and she makes like $40,000 a year at some job. And her fantasy is like finding a guy that she can partner with, who he's going to make 50, 60K per year. She's going to make her 40, 50K per year, and they're going to survive together. Like there's a lot of people doing this kind of thing out here. And it's like, it's not what you really want, but you see a lot of people who are settling for this kind of thing. Or it's a woman who's just looking to exploit a useful idiot. You see this all the time with like women who will date a guy and then marry him and then divorce him 30 days later. I mean, Dr. Dre's gotten divorced. I mean, like everybody. I think Channing Tatum got divorced. Like it's just like they're looking to exploit a useful idiot a lot of times. Like they've gone through their phase of just being interested in the alpha guy, and now they just want to chill and they want some guy to take care of everything for them, or they're just going to divorce rape him and get his money or something like that. Like this is, I hate to say it, but this is truthfully how it goes right now. And in a lot of ways, again, like I try to flip this script here because I don't want to beat up on women. Truthfully, this is not really a like beat up on women thing. I think men would be the same way. Like imagine a situation where like, let's say you were married to a girl that you did not find attractive, but she provided all of the wifey traits, like she cooked and cleaned. Like on some level, you would probably, like a lot of guys would cheat on her. And like if they could and they found a woman who was really attractive to them, they would cheat on her because this one woman's just not satisfying them in that certain way. And so like I think guys would do the same thing if given the opportunity. They would exploit women who were willing to cook and clean for them, and then they would go sleep with the women they were really attracted to. I mean, this just makes sense. Again, like imagine if it was reversed. Think about it like this. If you had hundreds of women begging to be your loyal housewife who would cook and clean for you, you wouldn't value it either, and you'd just go after the hottest chicks you could to satisfy your desire. If you went on Instagram and there were 100 women offering to cook you a meal tonight, you would be like, okay, like cool, like I can get this whenever. And you'd be interested in that girl with the really nice body and the really pretty face who you just literally want her to come over and sleep with you. Like this is what would happen. And so this is what has happened to women. So it just makes sense. Like they just do not value beta traits at all because it has been completely inflated. Like it's abundantly available to them. It doesn't mean shit. They were never interested in it. Truthfully, it was just practical. And now they have no practical use for it. You get what I'm saying? So the only solution to the dating life you want is to embrace the new way of doing things and learn how to play this game. And so the rest of this video is going to break down what I'm calling dating 2.0 in this modern world of the internet and women having access to unlimited men. So the first step is you need to be the new attractive. You need to understand what this is. You were raised to be a nice guy or to focus on quote beta traits. You need to focus on different things now. So, like, you were raised probably by your father, by the Disney culture, by whatever, to focus on certain things. And I'm just telling you, like, a lot of guys think the dating game is harder now. I don't think it's harder. I just think it's like you got to focus on different things. Like, the strategy has changed. It's like, back in the day, if you wanted to get business, you had to send out postcards and advertise and like throw up a billboard. It's like now you don't do that. Now you run social media ads. It's like it's not harder, it's just different. And now what I'm saying is like the game is just different now. You don't get rewarded for holding the door open or being reliable. You get rewarded for causing drama and being an alpha douchebag who doesn't give a fuck. So it's just change what you're focusing on. That's all you got to do here. So, like, here's some examples. You want to go from stable job to adventurous lifestyle. And I'm not saying not to have a stable job, guys. Like, I don't want you to, like, one of the key elements of being an attractive man is that you don't build your life just to get women. But I'm just telling you how this works, right? Like, you having a stable job is not attractive. You having an adventurous lifestyle is attractive. She's way more interested in a guy who makes, I don't know, $50,000 per year from a laptop and he's like somehow traveling all the time than she is in a guy who's making $100,000 a year working in an office and he's boring as fuck. Again, I'm not telling you to like go do a certain lifestyle just to attract women. Like I prioritize, I do a lot of boring shit. My day-to-day life is actually fairly boring. And like I do that because that's what works, right? If you're a masculine man and you want to be successful, you got to lock in and be disciplined. But that shit's boring to women. And so like just understand, like you're not going to get rewarded for that. You're doing that for yourself. And then really what you want to do is through all that discipline and stability and building something for yourself, you create an adventurous lifestyle out of that. And that is the part that's attractive to women. Commitment and security are not attractive. She's attracted to options and being problematic. She's like not interested in the guy who will commit to her because it just signals in her brain that he must not have options and he must not be that attractive and she's just not into it. Security does not give her or does not arouse her. Being problematic, causing drama, this kind of shit is attractive. I talked about this in the video just the other day about how to become the guy that she tells you not to worry about. I said, like, women are just they're attracted to men with problematic traits. And you just see this all over the place. He's just a problem. He causes drama. Like, that's what you want to lean on. You want to move in that direction. Building a world for her versus building your own life. A lot of guys have this idea where they're like, building this world for a woman. Like, I'm building this thing so we can buy a house and have kids and do all this shit. This is just such a turnoff. It's just very beta. It's very unattractive. She wants the guy who's building his own life and basically is like, you can come join it or not. I don't give a fuck. So you want to build your own life. You're not building a world for her. When you're meeting a girl, you're not telling her about how, oh, I'm going to get this promotion and take care of you, baby. Like, she didn't give a fuck. You're building your own life. And you're doing your own thing. That's what she wants. That's what's attractive. It's not building a world for her because that's just weird, honestly. Putting her on a pedestal versus seeing your own value. That means like prioritizing her versus, prioritizing yourself. You got to realize, like, as a guy, truthfully, like, ask yourself, like, what are women really bringing to the table beyond sex? And again, I'm not trying to be a dick about this. Like, this is just, I really like women. I have no problem with women being women, but it's just like real talk. Like, what do they bring to the table? Like, once you get your ego out of the way and that desire for her validation out of the way, which gets you obsessed with chasing women, like, what do they really bring to the table? If you're a man who has put in the work on himself, you're in shape, you've got a great career, you're making great money, you're confident, you're going after things, that kind of guy is like worth way more than just the average woman as far as what he's bringing to the table. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, why are we putting her on a pedestal? And the guy who succeeds with women gets this. And so he's just like, I don't give a fuck. You really add nothing to my life. So if you're not on my time, if you're not doing this the way I want to do it, then this just doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? And you want that kind of attitude. You want to stop putting her on a pedestal because real talk, she's just not adding much to your life. Like, there's so much more, guys, like so my boxing gym does sparring on Friday nights. And back when I was younger, I had a lot of ego tied up in wanting women. I wanted that validation. I wanted them to tell me I was good enough. And I thought that it meant something about me if a girl would sleep with me or date me or something like that. And so, like, it really validated me. And nowadays when I'm like, it's Friday night and I'm like trying to like maybe some girl that I talk to, I'm like, I need to set up a date or something because I haven't gone out with her in a while and I need to keep up with her or something like that. I'll literally sit there and I'm just like, God damn it, I got to take this girl on a date. I'd rather go sparring. Genuinely, I'd rather go hang out with my guy friends and box than take this girl out to dinner. I mean, it's just like, it's almost annoying. And I'm not saying that to try and sound like, oh, like I just like, I'm too cool for this shit or something. I just mean genuinely, like, once you get your ego out of the way, you'll realize just how little this brings to the table. And the idea of going and yapping with a chick, even if you're going to sleep with her after, is just not that exciting. And you're just like, ugh, like I'd much rather box, or I'd much rather hang out with my guy friends and go smoke a cigar and talk with shit about with them. And you know what I'm saying? And like once you see your own value, you stop putting them on the pedestal, and this is way more attractive. They start chasing you because you're this high value guy that is not pursuing them, is not giving off that beta shit. He's giving off a completely different vibe. He must have options or he wouldn't be treating me this way. It's a completely different reaction. This is the kind of guy you want to focus on being. Go from being a good man to status and pre-selection. I'm not saying that you want to be an immoral person. I don't believe in being immoral. I don't believe in lying, cheating, stealing. I don't do any of that kind of shit. But when I say good man, I mean that like quote unquote good man thing, that stereotypical idea of like a man who's reliable, a man who, you know, he listens to her problems, a man who does all these kind of like things that they tell you in pop culture you're supposed to do that make you a good man. And like none of that shit works, guys. You want to focus on status and pre-selection. That's what she's interested in. A guy who has status, meaning that he's popular, and a guy who's pre-selected, meaning that other women want him. This is the thing you want to focus on. Don't focus on being a good man in that quote stereotypical sense. Focus on getting status and pre-selection. Go from being boring to being exciting. She wants drama. She wants the roller coaster. This is all you can give her at this point. All you can give her is validation and drama, because she doesn't need you to provide for her anymore. And so you want to go from being a boring guy to being exciting. That's what you want to focus on. Now, there are 5 other key areas of attraction. There's mindset, physical attractiveness, your masculine archetype, lifestyle, and status. These are like the 5 big areas I would focus on outside of those things I just said, which were kind of like mindset elements. These are the areas that if you get these things right, this is what makes you into an attractive guy. And going back to that video I mentioned, the video that says like the guy she tells you not to worry about, I break down all 5 of those areas of masculine attractiveness in that video. I would recommend watching it when we're done here. I go into detail on all of them. Step 2. Pictures. All the old ways of meeting women don't work. These kinds of things right here, going out to a mall. How many guys have thought about this? Like maybe back in the day, I remember like pickup artist shit back in the day would talk about like going to a mall and day gaming to pick up women. It's like, what the fuck is that, guys? Again, like it's so out of the way. If you're a high value man, if you're a man who's trying to make something of himself, are you really going to go spend your day at the mall on the hopes that you run into a chick and that she's interested in you when you approach her? Like what is that? Who does that? It just doesn't, it's just such a like the entire like the first thing she's going to think if she sees you there is she's going to think this guy's a fucking loser. Why is he approaching me in a mall? Like that's not going to work. It's just stupid. So like that type of shit doesn't work. We already talked about, you know, going out to bars and clubs does not work. And then like the other way guys will try to do is like, maybe I'll meet them through my friends. But it's like, guys, how many of your friends have girls? It's like most guys are running around in packs of incels. They're packs of incels. Like they get a girl like once a month, or maybe there's one guy in the group who's got a girlfriend. Like you're not meeting women through your friends, because if they have a girl, like they're not giving her to you. They're going to go after her themselves. You get what I'm saying? It's like this isn't like hanging out with a bunch of other guys who don't get women and thinking somehow you're going to get women is not going to get you women. All right. So none of this shit right here works. Social life, bars and clubs, going out to a mall, all this kind of stuff, it doesn't work, all right? And we all know this. This is what works today. Dating apps and Instagram. I don't like it any more than you guys, but like this is how it is. You need to have great pictures. These kind of pictures right here, I'm dead ass, guys. Pictures have been the biggest game changer for my dating life. Getting good pictures, right? So like here we are, like what does a good picture look like? You know, I mean, it displays masculine traits, right? I'm in a high status location on this one in the middle. I'm out doing something adventurous with this dune buggy in a cool location, working out, showing my frame in this sort of high status location. Those are just a few examples of things like that. But you want pictures of yourself doing cool shit, displaying the right triggers that attract women. Great pictures have been the biggest unlock for my dating life. Getting great pictures meant that my dating app profiles went from a couple matches a week to 5 to 10 matches a day. Right? It went from girls, that I would DM on Instagram not being interested to suddenly they're DMing me. It's like it is the biggest unlock you can have is you've got to have good pictures. This is how this works today. Women are on their phones all fucking day. They're not at the mall. They're not out at the bar looking to get laid by some random guy in general admission. That's not how this works. They're on their phones. And so you got to play this game. And again, like, what's the point in complaining about this? Would you rather have good pictures on Instagram or would you rather go out and try and get drunk at a bar and pick up a club slut? Like, I'd rather just do the Instagram thing. It's honestly a lot easier and it's a lot more like symbiotic with a high value lifestyle because I could just pay a photographer to come out and capture pictures of me doing some shit. And then I just get on with my life. I don't have to go out of my way to do this. It's a way better way of doing things, to be honest. This allows you to become this character in her mind and imagine herself being with you. Like she looks at you and she wants to like kind of imagine this life with you or imagine who you are. And she does this through the pictures. It's just like this kind of vibe board basically that she gets of you. And most guys just don't have this. They have these like crappy pictures from 2018 or the picture just makes them look like some bum, like they're out at a bar with their friends watching a basketball game. They just look like losers. And you want to get pictures that make you look a certain way, that convey that masculine archetype that I was explaining that we go into in the Guy She Tells You Not to Worry About video. Conveying masculine archetype, conveying attractive traits. You want pictures that demonstrate all this kind of stuff because she wants to imagine who you are in her head and get this idea about you. And this is very attractive to them. Women live in this fantasy world, and this is what they're attracted to. They're attracted to this narrative of who you are, and the pictures allow this to happen. Great pictures also exude status. They just have a certain aura about them. Like they just make you look like a main character. And this is just very attractive to women. So once you make yourself attractive, I highly recommend you invest in a photographer. It's really not that hard. Or get a friend who has a camera or just who sees the vision. This is the hardest part, actually, is like finding a friend who will take the pictures for you, because most guys are too insecure to go do this and they won't participate, or they're too busy trying to play this old school game. Like they're not getting girls, but they're still not willing to go take pictures, right? A lot of guys are in this space. Like they can't get laid. They can't get the dating life they want. And you'll be like, we need to get pictures and improve our dating apps and our Instagrams and stuff. And they'll be like, no, man, that's lame. Or they're just insecure about it. So this is the hardest part, but you need to find either a photographer or a friend, and you need to figure out how to get good pictures of yourself. So that leads us into step 3, which is dating apps and Instagram. This is how you attract women instead of chase them. This is a really important thing. You want to, rather than being like a guy who is like trying to grab a fish out of the water with his hand, you just want to cast this really big net that pulls all the fish in, and then you just take the fish you like, right? Like this is how you want to change it, and you use dating apps and Instagram to do this. Set up your dating life like a business. You are the product, dating apps and Instagram are the marketing. So every business at the core is both a product and marketing, right? Think about it. Like Apple has an iPhone, and then they make a bunch of ads that promote the iPhone. Everything is this way. It's like every company is built on a product and is built on marketing that product so that people are aware of the product and want to buy it. Your dating life is the same way. You are the product. You are the thing she's buying, versus the dating apps and Instagram are the thing that you market yourself with. So you get yourself out in front of them. Think about it, like if you were just like, I don't know, and if you're an attractive guy, but you're in the desert, you're not going to get women. But if you're an attractive guy in a room full of 100 women, you'll probably get a girl. It's about marketing, right? So you need to be attractive, and then you need to put yourself in a position where you present yourself as attractive in front of enough women so that you can get dates, okay? Here's how this looks. This is literally a sales funnel. I'm telling you guys, dating and business are like the same thing. Like this is a sales funnel. And so what you'll see is like it basically walks you through the sales cycle. So like somebody starts by being aware of your product, then they have interest in your product, and then they consider buying your product, and then finally some people make a purchase. And you'll see like gradually like it gets more narrow because not everybody who's aware of your product is going to buy your product. And this is basically how a sales funnel works. And so it's the same with women. So the awareness portion of the funnel is women need to know you exist. If they don't know you exist, then they're not going to be able to date you. So you have to put yourself out there in a certain way. And this is again why going to malls and all this kind of shit just doesn't work. You're not putting yourself in front of enough women. This is a volume game on a certain level. Not every woman's going to be attracted to you. And guys have this sniper approach where they want to go out and find this one girl and consolidate on her and she's going to fall in love with me. It just doesn't work that way. You'd be much better off talking to 100 women and just letting the ones who are interested in you come to you. The interest portion is them keeping an eye on you. So like they know you exist now and maybe they're interested. And this is how like a girl will follow you on Instagram, or maybe she matches with you on a dating app. Like she's shown some interest. She's keeping an eye on you, but she's not sold right now. This doesn't mean she's going to buy the product. The consideration phase is maybe you're talking to her or you go on a date with her. And then the purchase phase would be she's seeing you regularly and there's intimacy. So she's bought in now, right? And so you see how it just works down this funnel. You want to view your dating life the same way you view a business, okay? Dating apps and Instagram boosted posts operate as the awareness portion of the funnel. So you put yourself out on the dating apps or you boost a post on Instagram, meaning you pay to get it exposed. You can literally like use Instagram. You can spend like $5 a day and you can target a certain demographic. So you can say, I want this post to get in front of women who are in my area, who are between the ages of 21 and 28. And you can select for that. And then you spend like $5 a day and you can get a bunch of girls to see it. So like this is a form of awareness. You use the boosted posts or you use dating apps. And so you just get a bunch of people, bunch of women to be aware that you exist. You got to start here. And then Instagram becomes where you build interest. So what you do, and this is what I do literally on dating apps, is all I do is a girl matches with me on a dating app and I wait like 24 hours and then I send her a message that says something like, hey, not on here much. If you want to talk more, follow me on Instagram. And I leave her my Instagram handle. And I do that because it just comes off as very non-needy, right? I was clearly in no rush to send her a message. I waited an entire day to send her the message. And then I'm not asking for her Instagram and exuding effort. I'm giving her the opportunity. And so basically what you do is you only end up with like high interest women who will go follow you on Instagram. And you've also displayed that you clearly have options because you're in no way attempting to make this work with her and you're clearly in no rush to make this work. And so then you get them to go follow you on Instagram. And then I don't DM them immediately either. That's the key. Like they follow me. I usually wait like 4 to 5 days before I ever send them a message, maybe even longer. Or I'll even evaluate their profile and see if I'm even interested in taking them on a date. But what you're doing by this is you're demonstrating alpha traits. You're demonstrating this like pre-selection. Like clearly you're in no rush. You must have other girls you're dating or you would be jumping all over this, but you're not. And so she becomes interested and she gets to watch you on Instagram. She gets to see your story. She gets to see the photos and realize you're a real person. And she starts to be interested. And she's like, why is this guy not messaging me? And what happens a lot of times when I do this is a girl will go back on the dating app and message me and be like, hey, are you going to message me on Instagram? Like she will like follow up with me to get me to send the message because I haven't sent it yet. And it's like you get them in this place where they're kind of like chasing you now. They're attracted to you because they see you're a real person. You've got a life. You're not in any rush. This guy must have options. He's got good pictures. This is how you play the game now. And then I'll invite her on a date through the DMs. I'll just literally send him a message, be like, want to go grab wings or want to go do this or like whatever. Like I'll send him a message like that. And that's how I set it up. And then you close in real life. And that's your 4 parts of the funnel. You got awareness, which is the dating apps and Instagram. You've got interest, which is them following you on Instagram. You've got the consideration phase, which is you in the DMs, inviting them on a date. And then you've got the purchase, which is the close in real life. This is how this works. And this is how you actually attract women in 2025. You're not getting the girls you want because the product is bad, which is you, or your marketing is bad. So the reason you're not getting girls is because you're either unattractive or you're not marketing yourself well. And that's really it. It's literally like a business. It's like if your business is not getting sales, then nobody likes the product or you're not marketing the product good. It's one of those 2 things. Number 4, managing your dating life. Act like a guy who has lots of options. So what does that look like? It looks like having patience. Like I said, I don't rush to match with a girl in a dating app or message her or any of that kind of stuff. Infrequent communication. If you're a guy who has options and you've got a busy life, you don't communicate with women all the time. You're super sporadic with this shit. I'll take like 3 weeks to text a girl that I went on a date with sometimes, or maybe then randomly I'll text her a bunch in one day and then I'll vanish again. Like it's just kind of infrequent like that. And it's kind of authentic because I really have shit to do. It's like it just positions you as this kind of guy who's clearly got options, clearly got shit going on, the kind of guy she would want to date. Use the phone to set dates and that's it. Like, don't really be with this fucking daily communication shit. That's weird. Like, just set a date. I literally just like, I'll just out of the blue send her a message and be like, hey, want to go do this thing tomorrow night? Like, that's how I do it. Everything is on your terms. excuse me, I skipped be a douche, right? You want to carry yourself like a douche. Put that douche mentality on you and go out there, and that's how you're going to deal with women. This is how you carry yourself as somebody with options. Everything is on your terms, meaning like you're not going out of your way to make this work with her. Because imagine if you had 20 women who wanted to go on a date with you. Would you go out of your way for any of them? No, you wouldn't. And so it's just like, this is how you display you must have options, because you're clearly not willing to go out of your way. Entertain multiple options without apology. I will tell a girl that I'm dating other women, and they don't care. They will act like they care, but they don't really care. When you watch their actions, they're still very interested in you. In fact, they're more interested in you because now they're competing for you. Do not seek relationship. If you want a relationship, make her ask for it. You don't ask for it. There's no reason for you to ever ask for a relationship. Why would you do that? Put very little effort into things. Effort equals scarcity. The guy with options doesn't put a lot of effort into any one option, right? If you have 100 options, you're just not going to bother with anyone. So just put very little effort into things. Like very little effort into the texts, very little effort into the dates. It's not like this whole like calculated plan thing. Like, do you want to go to dinner with me in 3 days? And then after that, we're going to go putt-putting. And then we're going to do this other thing. Like, just make it very casual, like it just kind of like you just felt like it in the moment, and just be like, hey, want to go do this thing. Like that's basically how you do it, because effort indicates that you really care about this, and that means that you don't have options. If you had options, you wouldn't care that much about any one chick. And this is how you do this. This is how you position yourself this way. This is how you manage your dating life in 2025. It is not 1960 where you bring the girl flowers and pick her up and it's one girl you're dating and all this. It's not that game anymore. Okay, this is how you do it. You want to present yourself as having options, and eventually you will. This is going to be hard for a lot of you guys who have no options right now. But if you do this correctly, eventually you will have options. But you got to have patience. It's going to take a few months to get there, right? First, you need to be attractive. Then you need pictures. Get your dating apps and your funnel set up. And then you play this right. Give it a few months. You will have options. This is how this works, okay? Even if you want a girlfriend, just understand it's better to have 10 companies that want to hire you rather than having to accept one shitty offer. So a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, this is a lot of work. I just want a girlfriend or all that. It's like, do you really want to deal with the one woman who is willing to give you the time of day? Or would you rather have 10 women competing for you and you just pick the one that you like the best? And then you don't tolerate any bullshit. Then you don't have to put up with anything. Then you don't have to accommodate BS behavior, because now it's like, well, 10 women want to date me. If you want to give me a crap, then I just won't go out with you. It's always better to be operating from a place of abundance, guys, rather than scarcity, even if you want a girlfriend. Now, at this point, guys, what you need to do is you need to go watch the Guy She Tells You Not to Worry About video. It will break down how you can become that attractive guy in detail, covering those 5 pillars of attractiveness. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.